Hey, Cliff Jones here. Welcome back to the channel. This video is about making amends. It's about doing what's right after doing what's wrong. 20 years ago, I was a business partner with an older man. He was the senior partner. And one day I came into work. It was a Tuesday morning. We had been working together for 4 years. And the man said to me, "We're done. It's over. Our partnership is over." I was in shock. I had no idea why the business partnership was over. But he had decided that day. And there was no discussion. When I tried to discuss it, there was no discussion. I left my business partner's office that day and held one of the biggest resentments for many years. It was one of the most significant resentments I've ever had. And if you don't know this, anytime we hold a resentment against anybody, any place, anything that we resent, what I've learned over the years living a sober life is that everything has something to do with me. I have a part in everything that happens to me, especially the bad. Now, going back to this divorce, this devastating divorce, it threw me into a tailspin emotionally, mentally, and I couldn't do enough to drown out those emotions, including the anger I had, the resentment. So I went on to build my business, and I carried this resentment. And the longer I carried the resentment, other resentments built up. Other people, places, and things bothered me. So much so that I became angry. And that anger would often turn to rage. And that rage landed me in anger management, court-ordered anger management. And I was pissed at the judge. Anger management? Me? Angry? I had a right to be angry. I was taking a stand for what I thought was right. Baloney. So, earlier today, which triggered my desire to shoot this video and tell you this story, I called my old business partner. I looked him up online. He's in the same town as I am. I wasn't sure if he was still alive, but his assistant answered. He took my call. And I said, "Rupert, how are you? I need to come see you. I need to share something with you." And within 30 minutes, I was at his office, sitting at his desk. And here's what I had to say to my old partner, Rupert. I said, "I'm sorry. I own my part." And I told him what happened to me after we divorced, how I went into a tailspin, how I started accelerating my use of alcohol and drugs, how I carried a resentment, and how I felt about him, and how sorry I was that I carried that resentment for all those years. And Rupert thanked me. He told me it took a lot of courage. I don't know that it was courage, but I needed to tell him I was sorry for my part. I was not being the best business partner I could be. Was it grounds for terminating our partnership? Probably not. But here's the deal. If you're going through anything tough in your life and you're carrying resentments, the sooner you can see your part in the situation, your judging, your whatever it is that's causing that resentment, pause. Think about your part in it. Are you afraid of not getting something? Are you afraid of losing something? Typically there's fear or a greed or an envy or something going on underneath that resentment. And those resentments are as toxic on our minds and bodies as any drug or alcohol. And I'm no expert other than I live a sober life one day at a time. And I do my best to make my wrongs right by promptly admitting them when I'm wrong, because I can see my part in everything now. If the world is a mirror, it is reflecting back at me all the things in me that I am resisting, judging, criticizing, because those things are within me. It took me decades to figure this stuff out. And I'm still on the journey. I'm still a beginner. But this channel is about helping you break through all the things that hold us back in life. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're a model employee, if you're underemployed, unemployed, retired, it doesn't matter. Nobody gets a hall pass in this lifetime. We're all going to be hit with trials and things that allow us to see our part in it. And that's been very powerful for me. So I feel phenomenal now, having seen my old business partner. He told me he was sorry. He told me he had a bad day that day and had a knee-jerk reaction to seeing me reading a book in my office that day in the morning during business hours. I didn't remember that. I thought he was pissed at me for something else. But clearing that up made all the difference. And we shook hands. And I can't tell you how powerful it is to go to somebody and say, I'm sorry, I was wrong, and what can I do to make it right? I'm Cliff Jones. Thanks very much for being here. If you have a constructive comment or question, drop it in, and I'll do my best to get back to you. Thanks again for being here.